everybody, so with the release of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, we now have 5 films in the Ghostbusters franchise, and this franchise is one that I hold near and dear to my heart. As long as I can remember as a kid, growing up watching those first 2 Ghostbusters films, I fell in love with the franchise instantly, and my love only continued to grow more and more as I watched stuff like The Real Ghostbusters or The Extreme Ghostbusters. Now, of course, this is just my personal ranking of the franchise. I'd love to know your rankings down below in the comments section. Make sure you share them. But without further ado, let's get into my last place pick. I have a feeling you're probably going to have an idea of what it's going to be. In last place, I have Ghostbusters 2016. I remember living through the chaos when this movie was announced, all the way through it being released. Just all of the online hatred that this film drummed up. The overwhelming amount of dislikes on the trailers. James Rolfe from Cinemassacre said he was going to not review the movie at all or even go see it. To me, being this lifelong Ghostbusters fan, the best way I could describe the 2016 Ghostbusters, it's just an incredible disappointment. It lacks so much of the charm that you got from the original 2 films. When it comes to Paul Feig as a director, I think more often than not, I do enjoy his work, but I don't think his style really meshes as well into the Ghostbusters archetype. Especially in the actual ghost encounters in the film, leads into one of the greatest sins of Ghostbusters 2016, is I just don't think the material is all of that funny. We've seen these women like Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones be great in other material, but the material they're given here is severely lacking. Tries way too hard. In most instances, it had the adverse effect that you would want, where the majority of the humor is cringe. Out of the entire cast, the only person in this I found consistently to be funny was Chris Hemsworth. Looking back with hindsight, do I think the 2016 Ghostbusters film is one of the worst movies of all time? No, but I do think it is a pretty bad film overall, and my least favorite of the entire franchise of Ghostbusters. Coming in at number 4, I have Ghostbusters 2. My feelings about Ghostbusters 2, ever since I can remember, has always been fairly mixed. It is extremely tough when you have the original film be such a resounding success and a classic, and here in Ghostbusters 2, I feel like they tried their best to do a decent enough follow-up, but it ends up feeling a bit safe in its execution. An overwhelming majority of Ghostbusters 2 does feel like it's retreading a lot of the same ideas creatively as the original, just weaker in the majority of those categories. There are a sprinkling of interesting ideas throughout Ghostbusters 2, like the River of Slime, the finale involving the Statue of Liberty, and that painting of Vigo that has creeped me out ever since I can remember watching this as a kid. But it is so tough when you compare this to the original film that is so excellent. Whereas in Ghostbusters 2, the story isn't as interesting, even with most of the cast and crew returning for this. The directions, by and large, are not as creative or funny. At number 3, I have Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. After new life was brought into the franchise with Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire does a solid job building off of that, crafting another fun adventure. Though it doesn't have the same heart within its story compared to Afterlife, it still has so much charm due to the cast being such a delight. Though we had a little bit of interactions between the new Ghostbusters and the old ones at the end of Afterlife, this movie does a much better job giving them ample amounts of screen time. That did bring a smile to my face, the banter between them. For the most part, the newer cast and the older cast mesh pretty well. Besides it not having as much heart as Afterlife, I do wish there wasn't such an overabundance of characters. It's such a tough task we've seen with so many big franchises where you have so many cast members that some of them that you'd want to shine don't get those moments to shine. As far as that nostalgia effect, because I remember that being a main thing in Ghostbusters Afterlife, a criticism or a positive, mileage is definitely going to vary on how you feel about nostalgia. At least to me, I think for the most part, the nostalgia was well done, but I very much can understand why some people think that certain elements in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire could be a little bit of a nostalgia overload. As an expansion of the Ghostbusters universe, carrying on the story from Afterlife while also bringing in the legacy characters, I think it does a serviceable job if you're a big fan of Ghostbusters, but I don't think it's as good as Afterlife. Speaking of that, at number 2, I have Ghostbusters Afterlife. What a breath of fresh air for the Ghostbusters franchise. I love the path that they chose to take with Ghostbusters Afterlife, reinvigorating Ghostbusters for a newer generation with a bit of a smaller scale, old school type of adventure, managing to pack in so much heart and charm. As you can clearly see the admiration for the original films with the various callbacks, while also creating a fantastic new story with a cast that that makes everything work. Part of what made me fall in love with this new era of Ghostbusters is this excellent cast. I'm always gonna love Paul Rudd, but his usual charm and charisma works perfectly in the Ghostbusters franchise, but McKenna Grace, I think, is the best part about not just Afterlife, but also Frozen Empire. She does such a fantastic job playing Egon's granddaughter, bridges that generational gap for fans, bringing humor, heart, while also paying so much respect to Harold Ramis's legacy as Spengler, which is most apparent in the tearjerker of a finale when everything finally comes together in the end. At number 1, I have Ghostbusters. I mean, this has to be number 1. It's a bona fide classic and one of my favorite movies of the 1980s. It's just one of those perfect 1 in a million type movies that are so much fun, and how it brings together all these fantastic comedic actors in their element, executes these wacky ideas, going out and trying to catch some ghosts. It works so well because the cast they assembled here is perfection. The dynamic between all of these characters is what makes them feel also fresh and unique. Venkman, Spengler, Winston, and Ray all bring something new and interesting to the table and have great banter, line after line of quotable dialogue exchanges. My personal favorite always was Venkman because I always appreciated Bill Murray's dry humor. Even outside of them, the supporting cast is just as great. Rick Moranis, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts. Ghostbusters also manages to tap in a little bit to that spooky element with the ghosts. It manages to find fun and interesting ways to incorporate the scares in with the humor. Slimer, the Gozer, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Stuff that is so popular we continue to see it referenced on and on in the more recent films as well. It's just such a timeless classic, and I adore pretty much every aspect of the original Ghostbusters. There you have it. That is my ranking of all 5 films in the Ghostbusters franchise. It was such a great time talking some more Ghostbusters on the channel. Like I said before, make sure you share your rankings down below. How would you rank all 5 films in the Ghostbusters franchise once you get a chance to check out Frozen Empire? Be sure to share all your rankings in the comment section down below. Thank you guys, as always, checking out the videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel so you update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. For the next time, I'll see you guys later.